the all the platforms. Let's see. It's gonna take a second for it to load up here, I imagine. Not live yet. There we go. We're live. I need to update the I need to update my channel graphics and everything like that eventually. It's one of those things. Let's see. All right. Let's open up this social stream and do it like this. Make it like that. Uh, how can we? Uh, whatever. Yo or ye or whatever. Sick. Okay. So it's been a while since I've done. Oh my gosh, I'm over here. Um, not even given to. Wait, dude, Am I blasting the audio? Let me see. I'm just like all out of sorts here. No, it looks like I'm okay, but I might be quiet. Just interesting. Um, there we go. Something of that nature, something in that range. Hopefully, the audio is not too quiet, not too loud. Actually, matter of fact, let's just hear the playback. Let's hear the playback and just hear some playback from the audio. Yeah, that's good. That's good enough. Yeah, I haven't done a podcast in a really, really, really long time, and uh, yeah. So January, February, March. It is April. It is the second quarter of 2026, and I'm not unhappy right now. Um, but I've got a lot that I want to be excited about that I feel emotionally that the appreciation for it hasn't hasn't gotten there. Let's see here. Great question from Master of Masters. Dinner with Jay-Z or $1,000,000. I'll take $1,000,000. That's easy. That's an easy if this or that question. Yeah, $1,000,000 is easy. I mean, that just kind of just what's happening in my life. $1,000,000 is would be greatly appreciated. I mean, I am an entrepreneur that has attempted multiple different ventures. I've attempted being a creator. I've attempted being a producer. I've attempted being a manager. I have attempted being an employee. I've attempted being a freelancer. I've attempted being an artist. I've attempted a lot. And I would like to have more to show for the the work that I have done. I could over the past 10 years, I could have done a lot more work. If the right situations had put itself in front of me, then uh I would have tried. Uh I wasn't in in the right circumstances to do that. I feel that's my feeling. Again, this is going back to a whole lot of emotions. There's not very much logic to what I'm going to be talking about today. When things go wrong, you often want to figure out any excuse to diminish your accountability in the thing that went wrong. And you want to say, "Oh, it was out of your control. Oh, this could have prevented that thing from going wrong." And then and it just sucks. It just sucks when you're trying to do better than you did before. You're trying to improve, you're trying to make incremental improvements on the quality of the output that your actions produce in results. You wanna improve the quality of your results, and, a lot of this is gonna sound woo woo, it's gonna sound crazy, it's emotional, it's very emotional, um, because it's not like there's an action that that is a step-by-step action that I can just say, "Do this, and the result will be this." There are no guaranteed results. There's no logic to creativity. There's no one size fits all when it comes to creativity. And and even not even just creativity, but originality, because there's plenty of people who are creative, and their creative is just iterations, derivatives of something that someone else has done. You think of, like, the buzz around Coachella. You something that I noticed from the photos and videos from that event is there are a lot of people mimicking each other, copying each other's styles, and the originality is effectively just how slightly different it may be, but at the end of the day, it could be vanilla ice cream, and a lot of people are looking just for the sugar rush of vanilla ice cream, and I think where I'm struggling to to feel accomplished is I often am shooting for vanilla, and I end up with chocolate or caramel or strawberry. I think I'm scooping out of the vanilla tub, and then I look down, and somehow I've mistakenly Oh, I'm in the wrong category. Son of a gun. And it didn't automatically update. I forgot. Yeah, man. That's my bad. Uh, yeah, what am I talking about? That's a great question. Let's try and fix this. There we go. I'm talking about life, bro. I'm talking about life. Schmeat. Schmeat. It's a great I mean, that's really what it is. It's an inadequacy. It's a it's insecurity. It's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what do you do when you feel like you're not enough? When you're trying to mimic other people, you're trying to copy like, no, you see, I'm lost too. That's the thing. That's like I might be saying things based on my lived experience and where I am today, and maybe I got lost down a journey with drugs, alcohol, maybe women, might be a million things, right? I'm lost too, and I'm just trying to help people along the journey, saying like, "Hey, you're in a journey. You're 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 living your life, and your life is a, a fragmentation of what's going on in society." You know, you see things like Clav, right? Clavicular, who is overdosing on GHB because he wants to have a good time when he's out and outside, and he wants to be low inhibition. He doesn't want to feel the anxiety of having to put himself out there and advertise himself in such a way, and the uh the expectations that he set not only for himself but society is that he's a guy that is looks is basing all his social interactions on looks, because statistics, and that he is a different form of on the spectrum, but he's on the spectrum, and he's addicted to the statistical analysis of how people perceive him and other people, and he's not wrong in a lot of ways, but it doesn't mean that you have the same addiction, or he, or even have access to the same amount of information that he has based on his live experience and everything like that, to come to the conclusion that your appearances diminish your level of status, your level of charisma, your your level of network. Like, there are a variety of different abilities and uh, stat points, just like any my character in any role playing video game, like that you can level up in a lot of different ways, different skill trees, and accomplish whatever goal that you're looking for. His happens to be relationships in the sexual market value, but if you're looking to grow in business, there's a lot of, there's a lot of crossover there. I mean, the better you look, the more likely that people who are conscientious about their aesthetic are going to be looking at you that way. That's why I'm kinda circling back around to the Coachella thing, is that people are mimicking each other so as to not disrupt the expectation of the environment. So, everyone's joking about, "Oh, it's the place where celebrities go to, or high net worth people go to, or affluent people go to, or, you know, people who eh, have inheritance and such go to connect and relate to other people and resonate with like-minded people, and they end up doing illicit substances, psychedelics, you know, and it's an escape from their traditional norm where they don't do those things. But in reality, let's let's be honest. There's the Coachella weekend is just a exorbitant festival, celebration of those activities for those who have the capacity and the wherewithal to go and do those things on a regular basis. And there are a lot of people who don't have those things, but they do those things because it's an escape from their the dread that they face in their everyday lives. And hey, I cannot blame them. Like I'm saying, like there's a lot of dread that I experience in my life, you know? There's a lot of things that I wish was better in my life that is not better as um as a result of actions that I did or did not take, right? Did I pursue my goal? Did I did I did I get sick because of my health? Did I was I not paying attention in class? Was I which part of the outcome was diminished by the input, right? Uh, and hey, there's plenty of experiences out there that you can spend your money on, that you can go and find out about. You can find out about nightclubs, you can find out about adult entertainment in the variety of forms that it comes in. You can learn about casinos, you know, you can in modern media, these are the things that are driving the most traffic. These are the things that the internet has chose to be the arbiters of success. Religion is a growing niche and industry, but it's in a lot of cases it's more cult-like because the capital that's generated is then distributed amongst initiatives that don't return to the individual's community that they are participating in, right? It's just another form of entertainment. And it's unfortunately a byproduct of poor leadership in those religious facilities, whether it be churches, mosques, synagogues, whatever the case may be, Buddhist temples, whatever the case may be. You're putting your hard-earned labor and rewards into something that your the results or the a return are as negative as if you were to go participate in illicit activities. It's like there are those who will be on the upside of what is deemed appropriate activities in society, and there are gonna be those who are on the downside of appropriate activities in society, and those things obviously change depending on social pressures and political opinions and just community in general. These things will change over time. I think this podcast is on fire a bit. I think it's on fire a little bit, and I'm here to burn it. I'm here to burn it down because my I'm upside down with this. And the only way to get on the upside is to work through the problems that I see on podcasts, live streams, webinars, physical events, and just in general, how the hierarchy and the structure works. And it's not just me, right? There are plenty of people who see these problems dynamically, and I was somebody who was accepting the fact that the the I don't wanna say playground, that makes it sound elementary and childish, but, like, the arena, the stadium, the platform was dictating the results, and there was nothing you could do about it. I was kind of right and kind of wrong. I was under the presumption that the actions that the platform was taking were democratic based on the language that they were utilizing. And this is naive to believe, you know? And I was attempting to play by the organic, the natural, the appropriate rules. You can't do that. You can't do that because those who determine the rules are not the same people who choose to enforce them. That's just what it is. The people who choose the rules are not the same people who choose to enforce them. As a result, you have people overstepping their bounds when enforcing the rules, and people stepping their bounds when initiating the rules. So, as a result, you have a circus. You have, unfortunately, one game in town when it came to live streaming. All the platforms that existed outside of the Twitch ecosystem were weren't competitive options. Mixer died. D Live is now dead. Kick is this competitive ecosystem because they semi copied the playbook of Twitch and look to kind of figure it out. Speaking of which, right now we have somebody offering me the chance to get my stream shared to a Kick community of 1,000 followers and 700 viewers and earn $1,500 per stream. Awesome. That's the best chatter that we get from Kick. Sickness. YouTube slowly becoming one of the rising stars in live stream, but unfortunately, when it comes to what their offer is that there's no discovery for long format live stream. Only short form live stream. So if you wanna jump into the short form feed and you catch a live stream that's happening in vertical format and portrait style, then yeah, that's as equally as competitive as TikTok. TikTok and what's going on over there. Which once I start talking about this stuff, I start thinking about the money. I start to think about how do you make money in content? How do you make money as a creator, you know? Not everyone knows all the ways, but I think a lot of people do. A lot of people are like, "Whoa, you make money doing that?" When they don't think about it, they think, they live inside the matrix of and their programming is doing them well. They have a 9 to 5, they make, you know, a decent amount of money, and they don't, have to think about where whether or not that their income meets the cost of living, right? Because every act that they've never spent more than they've made, right? Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you, Lena, over there on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, they never spend more money than what they make in their income in their 9 to 5. And so they're lucky enough to not have to think about, "Oh, what happens if I have to go freelance? Happens if I have to be an entrepreneur? What if I'm out of the job for longer than unemployment can help can suffice for me in the work that I do?" I think there are a lot of people who are entry level, not entry level, but maybe, junior level executives, account executives, SDRs, or AEs at an organization thinking like, "Hey, I make 120,000 to $250,000 a year and have been, you know, have been perfectly fine." But there are there are retail workers out there, gig economy workers out there, people out there who don't haven't seen $120,000 in their lifetime, ever. They don't have $120,000 saved up. They don't have they don't have a Robinhood account. They don't have Bitcoin or Ethereum. They don't have any of that stuff. They've had to spend every single dollar that comes in and some. They're probably in 150,000 if not $200,000 worth of debt. If they were able to get enough money and his credit score well enough to get a uh, a mortgage on a house, and they're probably from going from bartending to washing cars to uh doing nails to coffee shop to serving tables to construction to every single kind of contractor job that they possibly can, because they can't hold longer than 2 to 3 months before their uh neurological issues result in well, it may not even be up to them. Maybe that the company goes under that was doing the catering service, that was doing the photography business, that was doing whatever it was, and they get laid off. As a result, they can't find another opportunity for 6, 7, 8 months, and in such they're, going in deeper into credit card debt. You know, and then somebody, like a Caleb Hammer brings them on the show and is like, "Well, why can't you get a job at McDonald's?" It's like, "Okay, uh, socially are they gonna fit into the situation in McDonald's? You know, we're talking about people that don't fit in any other work environment. Oh, they're just gonna fit in all of a sudden in an environment where the vast majority of the employees are native Spanish speakers, and they speak their, English as a first language, you know? It's just like our society, at least I'm coming from a perspective of of the Texas economy, but when I think more broadly, and this is maybe why it can be, um, it could be a little bit anecdotal. It's very anecdotal when I speak on a local basis because I'm not too deeply rooted into any of the actual, you know, the actual economics of Texas. I mean, there's a lot to it, more than more than just, my small area. But when it comes to the digital economy, that's everyone. That's everyone on the globe. Everyone who has access to the internet. And that's who you're competing against. You're not competing against Joe Bob or Sally that's your neighbor. I mean, maybe if it's very unlikely that that's how close it is to your competition is that close or you're that. I mean, money is money. Obviously, the economy is the economy no matter where you are. You can be up you can have an upside if you choose to, expatriate, from where you where you're currently living into an economy where the resources that you have are more valuable, right? If it's like, for instance, for the United States, that's moving to Southeast Asia, not some places in Africa, some places in South America, like where your money goes a little bit further. Um, and in many cases, Europe to America, that's the case. But actually, dynamically, the economies just work vastly different. You know, um, the quality of goods is different, uh, especially in the United States. The quality of the goods that you get on the East Coast is not going to be equivalent to the quality you get of goods on the West Coast, so in the South or in the North or in Central America. It's just not Central America, but in the center of the United States. Um, so yeah, I just think, this is any conversation that I have in the past 6 years, 10 years, I guess. I mean, 10 years is maybe stretching it, but 6-ish years has all been about economics. It's all been about finances. It's all been about how do you make ends meet in modern America, you know? And it's interesting because all of the digital companies have been laying people off. And I don't know if they're hiring as well at the same time. There's a good chance that they're hiring at the same time, but they're probably not hiring for the same role. I mean, that'd be wild and egregious and should be definitely illegal. You can't fire you can't yeah, you can't just lay off whole departments of marketing to rehire marketing from another source. Like, that's just I don't know how that could be legal. Like, you're putting people in precarious situations where they have to figure out how to make ends meet again just to go and replace them with someone that is their counterpart, with another counterpart or someone that's like someone competitive to them. But I mean, such is life, I guess. I that's the only way I can that's the only way I can justify it. It's like such is life, right? Which is where, like, this whole AI aspect of uh, jobs and job applications is really, really interesting. Because if some people can afford, you know, 200, $300 to have an AI applied to jobs for them, and other people can't even, that they're on their last $200 and they got a credit card they're running up like crazy. Like, that's not an there's nothing even slightly, uh, fair to that. Life isn't fair, okay? That's the answer. It's like, as soon as I say something that I feel like is empathetic, I then have to say something that is completely, uh, arrogant and, um, bigoted, because it's just the way that that this system is working, you know? No every individual is just a number. Unless you start to develop your own company, your own community, your own social relationships, and you start to build out a name for yourself and a relationship with everyone, that people see you beyond your appearances and everything else like that. Like, if there's a true connection with what's going on, this is back again to the woo woo stuff. Um, is So there's a deep soul connection between what you're doing and what, um, your audience, and I'm saying audience from from a creator standpoint because I think it's applicable to anything else as well. Your audience, the people that will listen to you, the people that appreciate your company, the people that see the value in the work that you do. I think that's where the that we can re-engage and reconnect in a way that overcomes the bigoted aspects of corporate the corporate world, and I'm not even saying just America, but the corporate world, because people who are affluent, who are wealthy, who have, capital to invest, that are able to do things with their money, make their money work for them, are able to operate in economies all over the world, you know? And it's not just one place or the other. You know what I mean? It's like, uh, it's just it's hard. It's hard to be an entrepreneur, is I guess what I'm saying. Feel sorry for me, I'm saying. I'm just kidding. Help me, help me overcome adversity and overcome the obstacles that have been placed in front of me. And everyone has this. I'm not being selfish in any way here. Everyone everyone has their challenges in life. Even if you have even if you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, you got to figure out how to survive. You got to figure out how to not make those not die at Coachella. because you overdosed on Molly or whatever synthetic drug is the latest and greatest thing. Like, I think in terms of if you're listening back to this, if I could give you hardcore value here and you're somebody who is lazy or lethargic or um ditzy, confused, lost. Lost was the word actually from everyone here, but if you're lost and you need some sort of idea, the idea right now is to build something agentic. It's learn how to vibe code. This that's what you have to do. I mean, if you can't figure out how to fit in, the answer is vibe coding. And I'm not gonna say that's easy. I'm not gonna say that. Um, it's not an easy task to go and vibe code the next application that's gonna be utilized by your audience every single day with microtransactions and you're just gonna figure out how to make money all the time. It's just gonna be it's just gonna be more work that you'll have to do without the accountability of a boss. You have to hold yourself to a schedule. You have to organize yourself and figure it out. I mean, I can give you some ideas. I mean, like, you can figure out a way to organize a dog community in your area or ice cream lovers or figure out how to locally source salt. I'm just looking at things around me, that and then just saying, "Hey, what could you do in that regard?" I mean, I have these ideas that come to me and I think, "Dang, is that even achievable? Is that possible to do that?" The thing that we've done, I've done that is a we thing, me and some team, myself and my team and myself. My team and myself is a better way to say it. A thing that my team and myself have done, we have done, uh, is we've put together an offer for local businesses to generate more content at a affordable means opposed to shooting commercials all the time through AI video. With AI video, we can output 5 to 10 times more content than if you hired a videographer to come into your studio, to come into your shop, to come into to your, uh, your job site and shoot all of that content. Instead, a few photos and you're off to the races. You shoot the photo on your own iPhone, picture here, picture there, put together a scene. It gets it gets put into the AI algorithms, and then you have a commercial that's generated. And so we started this process, and we're seeing 10 to 50x the impressions. We're seeing 10 to 50x the amount of content that's going out, and we're really, you know, my team and myself are really happy with the partners that we're working with, and we aim to really take it to the next level. Step by step, we're gonna take it to the next level and grow from here. Slowly but surely, slowly but surely. That's what it is. I know that I'm, you know, impatient, and I am anxious, and again, back to emotional, just emotional in general about wanting and having desires to be doing more of the things that I see on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, to be a in improved version of myself, to to be better in all different capacities without having to have the stress of thinking, where do I make my ends meet? How do I make my ends meet? That's just something that I think a lot of entrepreneurs are struggling with. Is like, and especially if they're solopreneurs, right? I mean, I've been a solopreneur for the vast majority of this journey. It's only recently that I've actually figured out how to put together a team. I have associates, people I'm associated to, but giving people the right advice, and I'm not like I said at the very beginning of this, I'm not a, you know, I'm not I'm not immune to making mistakes. I wish I was immune to making mistakes. That would be the golden ticket. If you had the ability to just be successful with no mistakes, I've there are more things that I wanna experience that people would probably think, "Oh, well, that's not, that's socially unacceptable," or, "Oh, that's not appropriate," or what have you, like exorbitant, overly exorbitant activities, like, you know, mega yachts, super cars, you know, jets, mansions, things that I've kind of had a little bit of a taste of, but not enough to satiate my appetite, you know? I'm a very hungry person, right? Um, when I look at the menu, I'm coming to a realization that there's an opportunity to be a to actually share, whereas opposed to the normative system that tells you not to share, that tells you not to talk to strangers, to not to do things, is that how are you supposed to succeed in life if you're not supposed to talk to strangers and you're not supposed to share? Like, those are the essential aspects of survival in society, is sharing is caring. It's like, "Oh, you can't share your oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Oh, you can't give, oh," it's like, you can't love people, you can't like, oh my gosh, dude. Ho The mixed messaging that the the programming that is given to you to, 1, protect you, but then 2, if it's I if it's overly protective, it starts to to become, uh, infectious. It starts to eat at the it becomes, inflammatory. It becomes, like, uh, cancerous to the your well-being and goodwill. If you start to adopt these things, if you don't have an ecosystem that is healthily supporting you, right? I'm sure all these things are great if, you're surrounded by, a loving family and a loving community and, all of these different things. But if those things are not there, and it's just like, not to say that if they're not there enough, you know, if they're not there enough, like, you can't tell that to somebody who has lost both of their parents in a house fire, and is grew up being abused through the foster care system and et cetera, that that, um, stranger danger that, only share if you dare. So, I don't know, that's pretty much it. I don't really got much more to say than that. Um, Maybe I'll do another podcast in the future, but appreciate you everyone who tuned in. All of the things are at trentknox.com. And if you want to learn more about what I got going, click the link in the bio. Until next time, I wish you all success, and I'll talk to you guys on the next stream.